Let's do trigger housing. I guess I should just move to the trigger. I don't have housing on this thing yet. Don't know what this is. Don't need these guys anymore. But yeah, trigger housing is like it seems like it's a separate piece, but it's not. This shape right here is also a pain in the butt to do. This little half moon cut in. Thankfully I recorded that, so you can see that in the recording. But yeah. Let's make that trigger first, and then we'll work on trigger housing if we have time, I guess. All right, so bunch of cylinders, really. Probably shouldn't be too hard to do this. I'll rotate my cylinders this way. Okay, I'm actually just going to use let me shrink them down. Let me plan out my holes for right now. Probably going to be like that big, I would say, for a trigger. Maybe a little bit thinner. So I'm already kind of getting that set up. I don't need this interior at all. I just need that shape, doing that thing. I'm actually working negatively on all of these shapes, so I might as well just flip them inside out too. Plan them out. So I got like one. Let's keep that reference over here so I can see what's going on. One, two, and three. Okay. Actually, what I'm seeing here is that these guys seem a little bit too big. So let me thin them out a little bit. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm gonna use one more now. And this guy is going to be my shaping tool for this trigger too. I'm just gonna like pull them up a little bit, just so I know what shape my trigger needs to be. I probably need more geometry on this thing. Looking at it, and seeing that I have to connect these holes to it too. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just going to smooth it one division. That should be enough. I don't need this middle piece either. I scaled this thing up. I shouldn't have done it that way. That looks close enough. Here, let's take a look at these guys, make sure they're kind of lined up. I don't want these to be like varying widths or anything. That's close enough. A little bit bigger. Pull it away. I mean, now that I'm looking at proportions, I probably need to pull this guy up, like all of these guys up, actually. Let's just pull it all up, because this trigger is coming out too big. And we need it to be tighter and closer to the trigger now. That looks a little bit better. All right, so I have my shape set up here. I'm going to combine these guys together now. I can isolate too, so we can just look at that. I don't need this guy or this guy, so we can delete the front of this guy out. Select some edges now, okay? So I want you to grab some edges like this. This one has 7 selected. So if I grab another 7, it should equal out to 14. You can read your number of edges right here. The first one I said was 7, and this one is 13. So I need one more to even it out. So if I have an even and out of edges, let's go this way instead. If I have an even amount of edges between those two, if they're both 7, I should be able to bridge them. And it'll connect it together like that. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me grab another 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. There we go. Do another bridge. Okay, we could do it to this side too. Thankfully, my edges are already kind of selected from that side, so I know how this stuff lines up. I'm just hitting the G key to repeat my operation. All right, so I have that started now. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see how much we have here. Maybe I could do it this way too. We'll see. 10. So if I get a 20 number, 21. So I'm 1 high. Let's ditch this guy right here. It's kind of messy looking. I'll play around with that. Honestly, yeah. Well, here's what I can do is I can grab some of these guys and collapse them. That's gonna triangulate those shapes. So they're not doing, you know, too much messiness. Actually, this is probably better. There we go. All right. Everything coming this way, I could just extrude this way, because the trigger is just going to stab right into the, you know, the pistol, so no worries on that. Probably do the same thing with these guys over here. I'm only going to work with one side of the gun for the rest of this. If you want to too, you can just mirror this thing. Just mirror, you know, put an edge loop in the middle and just mirror it to the other side. So you get the same shape there. That's your call on that one. I'm gonna do like 2 extrusions here because I want to have like an edge loop in the middle that's going to, you know, connect to some of this stuff here too. All right, so let's do the same thing over here. Extrude this guy in. I'm gonna scale it flat. Let's just do like one more extrusion this way. Kind of seal. We do a bridge. Just snap these guys in. And what I can do here now is I can just click on this hole that's here. I can do fill hole and poke face. Poke face is nice. Poke face will put a vertice in the middle and connect the geometry to it. Now this is giving me some problems over here though, so I'm not liking that. So let's just treat, you know, try to find some shapes that you, if you feel like the triangles are going to be kind of messy for those shapes, just do that poke again. Or you don't even have to poke, you can just come in here and just triangulate things. Triangulation can also work, you know, pretty well. Let me see if I could do that over here. Maybe it'll be a nicer demonstration. So I'm gonna grab this guy, fill the hole, grab the face, and just hit triangulate faces. And it triangulated it for me. Okay. And honestly, in this scenario, I can still rock that mirror. I'm just gonna, you know, grab these guys, scale it down to like half the size. Here, you know what? Just 0.5. Now I know that it's half the size for the scale. Freeze my transform, Shift D, and let's just flip it on. Sorry, I'm modeling on Z now like a crazy person. There we go. Just -1 on Z. Let me go DV over here. See if I can snap these guys together. There we go. Grab it all up. Combine together. Merge the vertices. That should do it. It's not looking good right now because, you know, stuff's nasty in there. Now, it's going to be hard for me to put holding edges on these kind of things too. And same thing with bevels. If I want to select some stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab these guys and hit extrude. And I'm just going to do my own man-made bevel here. I got 40 divisions on this thing again. Why does it keep doing that? So I'm just going, I just hit offset and that scales it in a little bit. Let's go for thickness too. This. And there, I just made my own little bevel with those shapes. I'll do the same thing with these little trigger areas. Okay, I guess the vertices did not merge together for these. But I mean, I could do that. And you see how it's holding that edge better on this. I just got to coordinate it better for these guys. Because these edge loops are not coordinating. Let me delete this. We'll come back to that front view again. I'm just going to grab all these vertices right here and scale them inwards. That's going to snap them in place and ensure that I get that merge happening there. Much better. I could delete these edges now. Don't need them anymore. All right, let's do the same thing with these holes. I'm going to extrude. Let's do offset to scale them inwards. Get rid of my 40 divisions because I hate you. So I scaled them inwards with offset, and I'm going to go for thickness now and make my own little bevel. All right, now if I hit 3 mode, much better looking. Holding edges with bevels. Okay. Bevels are nice for both the game res and the high res, so that's why we encourage you guys to start off with bevels first. And then you can come in here and make some pretty holding edges that make things look a little bit better. Put a blend on this thing. Okay. Now I'm looking more like we got some nice harsh gunmetal steel kind of thing happening. Okay. Not as weak as this stuff. Get some surface quality on there. All right. And there's a trigger. The housing will naturally kind of wrap around it and come up here. You're going to want to make sure that you model a hole for this thing to go into though. Okay, so at the same time, you know, whatever thickness this housing is, I don't think it's even lined up right now. Now that it's kind of lined up, I could take this, like just these faces right now, and kind of make my own little hole area for these guys to go into now. I think I had my divisions on that. Hang on. Yep. So now that that's doing that, I can play with my trigger some more here. Take these end pieces all the way in now. I'm just gonna scale it so it's flat. I like flat shapes. Like that. And now this trigger is going in to a little hole. Just scale it a little bit, just so I'm not intersecting. We don't want to intersect, okay? For the high res at least. We want our shapes to look like they're interacting with the weapon the way that they're supposed to be interacting. This guy right here. We're gonna need a little bevel for this. Just so that crease actually looks like it's doing something. Hold that. My trigger housing's a little bit small. A nice tight squeeze in there. Go into 3 mode, and now that trigger looks like it's actually going into the receiver. Yeah, getting some mild pulling here. So I think that happened because of my scaling operation that I did. So I'm gonna do like a little holding edge right here, and that should correct that. No, you might need some little holding edges in these places, just to kind of hold these forms in place. You may want to extrude off of these holes before you start connecting them, because that'll give you some topology to have like a holding edge for you there, kind of thing. Does that make sense? Where you just like floating geometry, where you make a little extrusion off of that shape. I'll kind of work with it there. Okay. All right.